It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
Okay, this right here is Car con Carne. Car con Carne is a Q101 podcast of James Van Alstyne, and Car con Carne is sponsored by Exploding House Printing. Exploding House Printing is here for all of your screen printing, embroidery, and other merch needs. They're local. They're over in Hermosa, not too far from where we are. And here's why I want you to consider them for your t-shirts, your merch, whatever. They focus on small businesses, bands, brands, everything in between. They've worked on products for Empty Bottle, The Music Box, Dante's Pizzeria. Did I mention Meatwave, The Brokedowns? There's a huge list. You can go see that list on their website at explodinghouseprinting.com. Now, Jonathan, the main guy behind Exploding House, he's been doing screen printing for literal decades. He knows what he's doing. And so besides technical expertise, he delivers production efficiency and cost awareness to offer boutique print shop quality at much lower large print shop prices. See him on Instagram at Exploding House, or again, go to the website explodinghouseprinting.com and get a quote there and look at all the cool stuff they have to offer. So I am in Pilsen. I'm about a block east of the CineSpace complex, and I'm joined by La Rosa Noir, a band that pulls together post-punk, surf, Latin rhythms, tying them all to their cultural heritage. I'm joined by Yeshi, and I'm joined by Zach in the back seat. If you're listening, it doesn't matter where Zach's sitting, but just to ground what's going on here. Thank you both for jumping in the car.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I mentioned the cultural heritage angle. It seems like if there were any time in recent modern history to come out and celebrate and support your cultural heritage, I think we're in it right now.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, this is the moment.
No, for sure. I'm a firm believer in existence is resistance. And I feel like, especially by being like Latino fronted and led in times like these is so important. I am doing this for younger me, for other versions and younger versions of me out there. So it means a lot to me to be able to keep doing what we're doing, and to just keep existing.
For historical context, the band started in 2018?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I mentioned that you kind of tie together a lot of different sounds. What was the spark that got this going for you?
I grew up in a very music-heavy family. A lot of my tios, my uncles were all like they were all rockers, really. I mean, I had a tio who was really into like Metallica, who put me onto that. I had a tio who put me onto Black Flag. He was more of a punk rocker. And just my dad was really into like classic post-punk, like The Doors and Depeche Mode, New Order, all that.
Nice.
So just like growing up, being exposed to that, and then I grew up in kind of like the last wave of like the MTV era, and watching music videos and watching Joan Jett cover Crimson and Clover, and that kind of rewired some of my brain connectivity there, and so all of that kind of just combined inspired me to be really a songwriter. I never pictured myself in a band. I always thought how cool and amazing that would be, but that just seemed like such a far off idea. Like there's no way that could happen to me. Like me? Why me? But I started writing. I was always a writer. I was that before being a musician. And it wasn't until my 11th birthday where I asked my dad if I could get a guitar, and he was like, sure, and got me a guitar. Then
do you think it was one of those things, based on what we know about your dad, being a musical person, when you said that to him, the second you left the room, do you think he did one of these, like, yes, like it worked?
No, not really. So like I kind of have a interesting situation here. So both of my parents are actually deaf. They can't hear at all. So when I say that my dad liked The Doors, it's because my dad actually mainly really was into hip hop and rap, because you can feel the bass
That's so
in
interesting.
that music. But with a lot of like darker toned music, such as The Doors, when you really turn it up and you turn up that bass, you can actually feel it. So as far as rock music, my dad really liked The Doors.
That's really interesting.
But yeah,
so it truly is catching a vibe.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I got a lot of music influence from my uncles in my family, and then my dad here and there, but really mainly he listened to rap and hip hop because that was the only music that he could really like feel. But every now and then he would play The Doors and Depeche Mode and New Order, and he'd be like, "Whoa, this is something different," and it just completely caught to my attention. But yeah, when I picked up the guitar, and he was like, "Okay, sure," and I always tell people, I'm like, it was the best. One of the upsides of growing up in a deaf household was that nobody could hear how terrible I was trying to learn how to play the guitar.
As you were figuring out, yeah.
But yeah.
Are you an only?
I am an only child, yeah. So I technically didn't start speaking, because my first language was sign language.
Wow.
My second was English, so I didn't start speaking English until I was about 4, and that was only because my uncles were like, she's talking like a deaf person, because I was only ever exposed to, you know, my parents. And I was always shy, so I wasn't really social or talkative, and they put me into speech therapy, and I learned English. But by being, you know, in a Mexican family and a Latino family, I learned Spanish as my third language. But yeah.
And Zach, when did you sign on with La Rosa Noir?
I joined pretty much about a year ago, almost to this date. I think I auditioned in December of 2024, and then I think like I officially got noticed that I was in the band January 2025. So it's been about a year. It's been a crazy, fun adventure since then, and I feel incredibly honored and grateful to be part of this project. So,
hey, how was his audition? What do you remember?
He was the first bassist out of 6 that we interviewed, and I'll never forget the day he came in, because we immediately knew that this was going to be our bassist. He came in dressed up for the audition, because we have a pretty, consistent image and aesthetic when it comes to how we present ourselves on stage and performing, and
I think is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And and he came to the audition dressed like he was already in Rosa Noir, so that was visually great first impression. He learned the whole album, and that was really more icing on the cake. And then also we were testing, obviously, like chemistry and making sure he wasn't like a weirdo in like the worst way, and he was a weirdo in the best way, because we're all weirdos. But yeah, it was a amazing audition, and literally everyone else that we auditioned after, we kept thinking about Zach. And we were just like, we already know we want Zach, but we want to be fair and give everyone a fair chance. But yeah, we already knew that Zach was the one. And I feel like all of the opportunities that have happened reassured the decision of having Zach as our official bassist, because we as soon as he signed on with us, we had nothing but like big and successful show opportunities. So I feel like a lot of that is also attributed to like his bass playing as well, because he's fantastic.
And there's a lesson here for people who are on LinkedIn. Dress for the job you want.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely was going through my mind. I was like, I'm going to dress nice and professional. I put on a button-up shirt, belt, fancy shoes, the whole works. I did plenty of research. I looked up videos of their live performances going.
Yeah.
I put in a lot of work. I held this project in I put them on a high pedestal, and I made sure I raised myself to to their level. So I felt like I was, actually contributing something to the project.
So your next gig is on the 21st of February at my least favorite Chicago venue to spell, the Athenaeum.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Not a fan. Like a cool old building.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
But I just don't want to have to spell it, at least not under pressure.
Oh yeah.
It's like Jardinera. I have a hard time with that one too.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Even just thinking.
I'm a good speller. Those 2 ones always mess me up. So that show's coming up on the 21st, and you just as we're recording this, it was like 2 weeks ago you headlined Bottom Lounge.
Yes.
How'd that go?
It was great. It was incredible. One of my main concerns is like audience, and if people are gonna come, like,
sure,
that's
of course.
Always my
especially
concern.
in January.
Yeah, but people came out. We filled the place out, so that was really nice.
And of course, you talked about Zach came on board. Lots of big stuff in the past year. you can't talk about that and not talk about the fact that you played Riot Fest.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, it was incredible. I never, like I said, I think often about younger me and, watching MTV music videos or YouTube music videos and musician documentaries and just thinking that's never going to be me. Like that's so separated and far from me. And to accomplish something like Riot Fest was the absolute most monumental dream come true for me. So super exciting.
So last year, you put out all of the above, 3-song single. This is meant to be taken in as one suite of music. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all threaded together.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's technically 2.5 songs, but we figured that
it has its own individual track. We'll count it.
Yeah, the in between, it's technically a part of It Follows, the third song, but we're like, you know what, let's kind of chop it off so that way whoever wants to listen to It Follows, they can just jump right into it as opposed to, sticking around for the doomy intro part.
Which is, it's evil sounding.
Yes.
The bass and the feedback, it's just evil.
Yes, very, very delicious.
And It Follows, yeah. As you talked earlier about your roots and listening to Depeche Mode, New Order, etc., I mean, I hear those post-punk vibes loud and clear on that.
Yes, that was a fun one to
Especially
write.
that your guitarist isn't here, and we miss your guitarist, but that urgent lead guitar on that song is pretty great, too.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely kills it with that song, for sure. I mean, all of our songs, but yes.
And the tempo opposite, I would say, is Nothing Everything, which is haunting.
Yeah, I can see that.
Tell me what that's about.
Yeah, so Nothing Everything is really about going through something isolating and traumatic and, being told by a person that you trust that they can provide you certain things or give you certain things that you deserve or yearn for, and then coming to realize that not only is it a lie and untrue, but also they are completely incapable of hurting you, and in doing so, makes you feel small and scared, and that's kind of that. I mean, that's exactly what Nothing Everything is about. Mm-hmm.
And It Follows. This plays to me like a breakup where someone can't get the message.
Yeah, no, for sure. I initially wrote It Follows with the intention of writing about depression and the depression ghost, and being frustrated that they're always there and saying, don't follow me, I'm going the wrong way, kind of fooling them that I'm going the other way. But it was interesting because as I was asking other people, other vocalists and lyricists, what they thought about the lyrics, because I rewrote a lot of the lyrics, and,
Sure.
and they were saying that that it does come across as an ex or someone that you're trying to get rid of, and I'm like, interesting, okay. So I did.
But it's more metaphor than anything else.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, it could really be about anything, because when I finished up the lyrics for It Follows, it was actually a month ago. And I actually thought a lot about the climate of the world today and how, we're just trying to, I'm so sick of all of just the sadness that's happening right now in our country. And I really kept that in mind when writing It Follows. And even with, Nothing and Everything, I mean, I already had the lyrics set for Nothing Everything for a long time, but I was like, oh wow, it actually kind of resonates with how one could feel when you put your trust in a country, thinking that they're gonna be here for you and support you, when really, in fact, they unexpectedly or expectedly lie to you and hurt you and do some pretty traumatizing things to you. So so these songs unintentionally but intentionally ended up being about, could be about the state of our world today.
And last year we got Heart on My Sleeve, which is surfy, which is what people can think of the band.
Yeah, for sure.
The surf vibes. Now, where did that influence come from? Because we're sitting here. It is 4 degrees outside, basically, in Chicago in January. The one thing we're not feeling is surfy right now.
I could see that, yeah. I mean, I feel like the surf genre has always kind of, the surf genre has always been a part of the Rosa Noir identity. Really, owing to our previous drummer, he was really pushing the surf vibe for the Rosa Noir sound, and it kind of just stuck. And I mean, we do have a lot of waves and wind in Chicago. Maybe not waves from the ocean, but we definitely have a lot of wind in the city, and we kind of like translate that into like being our version of surf. And surf can also exist in the Midwest,
and people can be salty like an ocean.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yes, definitour
Chicano Stomp, is that your Freebird? Is that your Stairway to Heaven? Is that your signature song?
Yeah, kind of. Our guitars would have loved that reference, but it definitely is our Stairway to Heaven. But yeah, it's our Stairway to Heaven. It's a song for the people, for our people, and it's a fun one.
It's definitely the get up and move song when we play it live.
With the new songs at the end of last year, are we expecting more?
Oh yes, absolutely. Quite literally today at practice, we're going to be practicing the new songs we're going to be writing in March. That we're going to be recording in March. There you go.
And this is a question I find myself asking a lot because there is no answer to it. But strategically, what makes sense for you? I mean, it seems like that kind of slow drip of singles and 3-song releases is working for you. Does that make more sense than saving everything up for a 12 or 10 or 12 song album? I don't think anyone has figured out what the best approach is.
Yeah, you know what? I completely agree, and I keep having a similar conversation with other musicians, because the music world is rapidly changing, and I feel like back in the day, we really appreciated albums, and now with everything being so, I always forget the freaking word, but the instant gratification or instantly being able to get something, short attention span that social media is encouraging in times like these. Like, from what we've noticed, like, it seems that singles or EPs are doing better than albums, which saddens me because I'm an album girl. I grew up buying albums, whether it's on a tape or on a CD, on vinyl. I love albums, but I feel like to just keep up with today's music consumption pattern or format, it seems like singles and EPs are the best route as far as releasing music, but I don't know, I could be completely wrong.
We're all figuring it out. I had a conversation
weird.
with Jonathan from Time Thieves on the episode before this, and kind of to your point, we were talking about how everything is, what have you done for me lately? Like, you need to stay present and visible because it's so easy for people to just put their attention elsewhere. Like, you almost need to keep peppering.
Yeah. I mean, there's an actual word for it. It's called, like, the waterfall effect. Like, you release a bunch of singles off of the EP or album, and then you put out the full album, which to me seems a little silly to me because, like, at that point, like, why put out the full album if you already released some of the singles? But I get it. That's what we've done in the past. I think right now we're just releasing them as they come, like whether it's a single or it's an EP. I think our next body of work is most likely going to be another EP. And that's kind of like what's working for us now, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I might completely change it up later on. So
of course.
I feel like all of our releases are actually the Ariana, the original album, is very like, it sounds all like itself. It's a very complete album. I think the singles that we've released after that are kind of like the new, moving towards a slightly newer sound. And this EP is kind of like a self-contained, like, it doesn't, in my opinion, it sounds definitely a little bit different than everything else we've released so far.
Yeah.
So I think, like, we're trying to keep vibes within our releases a little bit too. So
I think that is important.
Everything is more like consistent and congealed in a more solid idea all the way through.
I love the fact we're outside Music Zone. We're inside a sealed car. I can hear drums as we're talking. Like,
yes.
No mistaking the fact that we're by a practice space, or practice building.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking ahead, again, it is the Athenaeum on the 21st. More new music to come. Thank you for just walking outside on a night like this.
No
to do
problem.
this interview.
Yeah, thanks for coming
I appreciate you both.
No worries.